So one of the questions that kept coming up at Scope was, who are the end customers of risk-based monitoring? So to me, this sounds like a really silly question, because if it wasn't for patients wanting to voluntarily enroll into studies, none of us would have a job. So I don't really care what your job title is or what your function is at your organization. If you're not thinking patient first, you've got your priorities wrong. To me, the more interesting conversation comes after the patients. So the patients are clearly the first customers, but after that, try to reverse engineer your way back up the supply chain. From the patients, work your way back up to the research sites, the study coordinators, the PIs, then the CRAs, then the medical monitors at the CROs, finally the sponsors. And it's also important to keep in mind that if it wasn't for FDA guidance sort of giving us, the industry, the green light to go ahead and pursue this new strategy called risk-based monitoring, the industry would have never really made such a push for it. Maybe they would have done it internally, but it wouldn't be such a collaborative effort. And so because of that, you kind of have to keep the FDA in mind and sort of think of them as a customer in a weird way, if that makes sense, because they are going to be the end user of the data at least. So that's my answer. Patients clearly first, then study coordinators, then principal investigators, then the CRAs, then the medical monitors, then the sponsors, and then of course regulatory agencies like the FDA and others. One last thing to add, I think the good news is that risk-based monitoring is a big step in the right direction to improve patient safety overall in clinical research.